So good morning, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests and advocates for climate action. So sorry for the mishap earlier, without further ado, we'll just dive right into it. So a very warm welcome to all of you as we gather for this prestigious event of Climate Governance Malaysia's Hornbill Awards Showcase for 2023. It's with great honor that I stand before you today as your MC for this momentous occasion. Our aim is crystal clear: to elevate awareness of biodiversity conservation among boardrooms. We acknowledge the pressing need to tackle climate change and the crucial role that biodiversity conservation plays in shaping our sustainable future. I encourage everyone who's joining us today to engage with the panelists, share your thoughts, and leave questions on the Q&A chat box, as this is an opportunity for us to learn from each other. Now, please join me in welcoming Dato Henry Barlow, esteemed council member of Climate Governance Malaysia, to deliver the opening speech. Over to you, Dato Henry.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you well. Thank you, Dato Henry.
Do you want me to start again?
Yes, please. Apologies for that. Thank you.
Do you want me to start again?
Yes, please, Dato Henry. Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Do you want me to start again?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests and distinguished participants, welcome to the Hornbill Award ceremony for 2023. This is a momentous occasion organized by Climate Governance Malaysia. Today, we come together to acknowledge and celebrate the remarkable contributions made in the pivotal domains of climate action and biodiversity conservation. CGM, which is honored to be the Malaysian chapter of the World Economic Forum's Climate Governance Initiative, consists of a network of distinguished acting and former non-executive directors. Beyond conventional corporate governance, our focus is to steer companies through effective climate transition strategies. We are driven by the imperatives of financial stability, increased resilience and sustainability, understanding the profound impact these factors have on the future of businesses and the communities we and they serve. Our commitment extends beyond boardrooms, inviting all stakeholders to participate in the crucial climate conversation. The Hornbill Award, generously supported by our esteemed sponsors, recognizes the dedication of NGOs and CSOs tirelessly working towards the preservation of biodiversity. Aligned with the National Biodiversity Policy, our chosen theme emphasizes the mobilization of resources for conservation, addressing the urgent need to counteract the accelerating deterioration of natural systems. Today, our purpose goes beyond merely applauding the efforts of participants. We're dedicated to championing broader goals, fostering sustainability, building climate resilience, and aligning with Malaysia's commitments under the Paris Agreement. Furthermore, we strongly support the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, emphasizing the urgency of collective action for a sustainable and resilient future. By providing a national platform, we amplify the impact of shortlisted entities, creating opportunities to attract funders for vital climate and biodiversity projects. This initiative serves as a rallying call for collective action, urging diverse stakeholders to unite in the shared pursuit of a sustainable and resilient future. As we await the announcement of the Hornbill Award 2023, our commitment remains unwavering We aspire not just to acknowledge achievements, but to deliver enduring benefits to biodiversity, leaving a lasting positive impact on the environment and the communities affected by these projects. We extend our heartfelt thanks to all present for being part of this significant movement. May the spirit of collaboration and innovation guide us forward as we collectively strive for a sustainable and resilient future. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks very much, Dr. Henry. Next, I have the pleasure of inviting architect Serena Hijjas, a distinguished council member of Climate Governance Malaysia, to provide a brief overview of the Hornbill Award. Over to you, Serena. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shern. Yes, so I'd just like to take you through the winner of the Hornbill Award will walk away with a significant sum of prize money, which judges will award to one non-governmental organization or civil society organization that submits a compelling proposal to the response of ecological conservation. The Hornbill Award by Climate Governance Malaysia is an initiative aligned to our national policy on biological diversity 2022 to 2030. Goal 1 basically is to empower and harness with the challenges ahead of us, the commitment of all stakeholders to conserve biodiversity. There's a significant increase in funds and resources mobilized for the conservation biodiversity at a government level, and at a non-government level, we're actually looking for sources that will also significantly recognize the need to develop coordinated partnerships with the private sector to channel funds to prioritize biodiversity conservation projects. We invited 6 NGOs and CSO finalists, shortlisted from over 20 non-governmental and civil society organizations that focuses on the area of ecological conservation. The 6 finalists, each formidable nominees in their own right, champions in conservations, included 2021's Hornbill Award winner Borneo Rhino Alliance, BORA, REACH from Cameron Highlands, Reef Check Malaysia, Marine Research Foundation, and Club Alami and One Stop Borneo Wildlife. 5 criteria were identified by the selection committee for deliberation of the finalists. This covered project impact to area of conservation, clearly articulating how the project will protect and enhance biodiversity, plan execution of the specific or ongoing conservation project, describing the project methodology, award impact, what this award would mean, and the parameter is extended to NGO and CBO to explain the impact of the project to biodiversity, environment, and community, or the projected outcomes, track record and experience of implementation, and identify any other benefits to species and community. We say thank you to all 6 finalists that make significant conservation biodiversity contributions. It was indeed a difficult choice, and we thank them for ongoing perseverance in this field and would like to give a special mention to all of them. The Hornbill Award aims to honor individuals and organizations dedicated to preserving and enhancing biodiversity. Your expertise and passion for the environment is invaluable. This year is an exceptional year, as we announce both a winner and a special mention, each receiving funding for their ongoing conservation projects. Thank you.
Thanks for walking us through, Serena. So now, ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the stage as we announce the esteemed winners of the Hornbill Award. First up, our heartfelt congratulations go out to Shavez Cheema from One Stop Borneo, who clinches the Hornbill Award with an impressive display of talent and dedication. Shavez, you have secured the top honor along with a remarkable cash prize of 100,000 ringgit Malaysia. Well deserved. And next, we have a special recognition to bestow upon Dr. Serina Rahman from Kelab Alami. Dr. Serina, your exceptional contribution has not gone unnoticed. For your outstanding efforts, you have been awarded a special prize accompanied by a cash prize of 40,000 ringgit Malaysian. Congratulations. Now, let's give a round of applause to our incredible winners, Shavez and Serena, for their remarkable achievements in the realm of excellence. Your hard work and commitment are truly inspiring. Now, please join me in extending a warm welcome to Shavez, the founder of One Stop Borneo, as he shares a few words about the impactful work that he's leading. Over to you, Shavez. Chavez, we can't hear you. Can you? Sure.
Hi, sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry, technical stuff with my laptop. First of all, thank you so much again, Hornbill Award, for choosing One Stop Borneo Wildlife in our organization here in Sabah for this award. And we are really overwhelmed and proud for this. And I hope we make everybody proud. The funders, the committee, the supporters who are here, some of them, some of the One Stop Borneo wildlife team are here. Some of our ex-clients are here as well, who have visited us at the park. The government is here, some of them. Andy from Sabah Parks, he's one of our colleagues there. So again, thank you everybody for the support. And I think the video will show later what we will be doing with the award. We'll be using it for reforestation in Tawau, in Deramakot, and other parts of Sabah, and community work as well. So again, thank you so much for choosing us. And we're so happy. The whole team actually is so happy. You know, we're not a one-person show. We have a team of amazing intellect, enthusiastic people. So thank you so much again for choosing One Stop Borneo Wildlife for this award. And I'm looking forward for this whole program after this. Thank you. Oh, so is this my presentation time now?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is, Chavez.
Okay, so, sorry. Okay, so my presentation, right? This is basically which I presented in December, but this is the polished version. So, what is One Stop Borneo Wildlife? What are we going to do with this Hornbill Award and the money? So, imagine a wildlife paradise oasis. Look at this photo, for example. This is a wreathed hornbill eating Ficus subcordata, a type of a pig. Yeah. Now, this is just behind my room in Tawau. And I also know in some places in Sabah, in Deramakot, in Maliau Basin and Danam Valley, where you can where you can experience amazing wildlife at your doorstep. Our idea is, can you imagine creating more places like this with wildlife at your doorstep? A paradise. Now, to do that, let's continue the presentation. Next, please. So this is the dream I had envisioned. Look at this photo over here on the left side, Maliau Basin, which is a park in East Coast Sabah. Those are deers in the football field, in the park itself, and they're not scared of human beings at all. And on the right is Tawau Hills Park with red leaf monkeys at the back. Now, this is an amazing dream because this is not happening anywhere else on Borneo. In most places in Kalimantan, Brunei, Sarawak, and West Coast Sabah, most of the animals are very shy and skittish because of hunting, because of deforestation, because of multiple reasons. They're not used to humans. But these two places, Tawau, Maliau, and also we have Danom, animals sometimes can be near humans because they feel safe. Next. So, what is this wildlife paradise? If some of you have been to some of these locations in Sabah, like the Borneo Rainforest Lodge, Danam Valley, you will know what I'm talking about. Basically, it's animals at your doorstep, enjoying them from your room, and so on. Now, why is this happening? Because of good enforcement, good food source. So what we plan to do in Sabah is to create more of, replicate these destinations. And it's not rocket science. All you got to do is plant their favorite food. Some fruits are preferred by bats, some are preferred by gibbons, some are preferred by butterflies, some are preferred by certain kind of butterflies. So knowing this knowledge, if you have this knowledge, why not you plant them? Plant them, and not in one or two, but plant them in hundreds. That is the formula, number one. Number two, infrastructure. You can't just develop a nature tourism destination or a nature conservation place if there's no infrastructure. Infrastructure means a road network, accommodations, signal, and of course, you also need wildlife. So you need infrastructure and wildlife to develop a destination. So some of these places are Kinabalu Park, Danam Valley, Kinabatangan. So this is the idea behind things. It's not rocket science. It is a proven formula. Now it just needs to be replicated and made better. Next, please. So how are we going to use this fund? Once we get this fund, we're going to open up 2 to 4 more nurseries. We already at this present time have 2 nurseries, but we're going to open up another 2 to 4 more in Sabah. We're going to hire more hunters to become guides. At this present time, we have 2 ex-hunters in our team, Ledumain and Labintin, and we're going to hire more of them. Because you see, hunters are not bad people. They also just want a nice new livelihood. They also want to send their daughters to school. They also want nice sunglasses and, just live like a normal person. So we're just going to give them a new source of income to be working in the nursery, to work as a guide. Landscape design. For each place, whether it's Tawau, Dramakot, or other places, we're going to have a nice landscape design around the building, around the lodge, and plan exactly where we're going to plant the flowers and trees. So we will have this game plan. We have a large network of travel companies, schools, and churches and mosques. We're going to get everybody involved. For example, in Tawau, we have a huge network of schools. We have a huge network of the stakeholders like the fire department, government, forestry department, the supper parks, and so on. We will try to get everybody involved to be part of this program. We'll get the travel companies to keep on funding this project as well, so it's sustainable in the long run. We just need this project to be kickstarted. We need more partnerships and political will support. So at this present time, we do have some good support from various agencies and plantations in Sabah. So some of our partners are Sabah Park, Sabah Forestry, and Tech One Plantation. Fruit collection ficus map is basically, we have in the past 5 years with our whole team, with Quentin Phillips and Yulinda and everybody, we have been recording down the best fruiting trees all over Sabah. So we know when they fruit, and so we can grow them as well. So yes, and we also partner with many other NGOs. There's a saying in English, if you want to travel fast, you travel alone. You want to travel far, you travel together. So we try to partner with as many NGOs possible, like Bora, the previous winner of the Hornbill Award as well, because they grow trees very well. We learn from them. We send our team to training as well. So we'll continue doing this in the planned execution. Next, please. So if you look at this place, right, this is, let's say this is a lodge, yeah, and next to it is forest. So there's animals around it. But if you look right in front of the lodge, it's basically an empty land. Animals are shy to go there. There's a road coming in, but there's still empty space over there. Basically, what we'll be doing is landscaping, planting all around the roadside, all in front of the lodge, so the animals from the forest can come closer and closer to the lodge area as well, like it is happening in other existing proven destinations. Next. This is an example. This is a project which has not kickstarted. This is just in the planning. For example, if you have a parking lot over there, this is how a landscape indicator looks like. This is how exactly we plant the taller trees at the back, the shorter trees in front. So it looks aesthetic as well. We have planted different species as well, which benefit different animals. Because some, like I informed earlier, some bats only like certain kind of trees or plants. Some moths only like this kind of flower, butterflies and gibbons and hornbill. So we have designed them. So we have botanists in the team, because we know some species grow wider, some grow taller, some grow shorter. So we need to know how to plant them as well. We have been working on this for the last 4 years, and we have some existing sites as well. We have tried this. Thank you. Next, please. Now, what is our experience and track record on One Stop Borneo Wildlife? Basically, we had informed the committee before that we have been in operation since 2012. our NGO, we registered a travel company since 2018. We have kickstarted a project called Plant for Borneo Elephants at the Sabah Softwoods in Tawau, where we do tree planting in a wildlife corridor, pigs and everything, which is connecting Danum with Tawau, and also do four-wheel safaris to look for elephants. This has been a very successful project. We have brought in 250 visitors, pumped in almost 100,000 ringgit into the economy over there. The German embassy and One Tree Planted also gave us grants last year to kickstart these projects. So that's also another reason why I know these projects are going to kick off very well, because we have other matchmaking funders as well. And we have done some groundwork in the past as well. So things are in the right direction. Tourism wise, we have had record breaking wildlife tours last year, for example. We started in 2018, we had 100 guests a year. Last year, we had almost 400. So we're pumping money into the economy, creating jobs, creating a value, getting more government people and locals involved in all our projects at different parts of Tawau and Sabah. Next, please. This is just a quick statistical data on how many visitors we brought in last year, for example. Some of these are not just tourists, they are researchers, they are students, they are school groups, they are local groups as well. And this just shows that when we start this project, not only in Tawau, but in Drama Court and other parts of Sabah, we have groups of people coming in to support this project. And since this letter came out, actually, of us winning this award, we have already secured some final letters of approval from certain agencies, which I will show after this. Can we go next, please? Again, another experience and track record. Basically, we have produced at least 10 field guides. Mammals of Borneo book, which has sold over 1,000 copies, a field guide to Tawau Hills, books on hornbills and pangolins. We've already planted more than 10,000 trees in different sites of Sabah as well. So we have a track record on all these things, on books, on visitors, and tree planting. Next, please. Again, these are our most famous guidebooks. One is the Ara magazine, Borneo's only premier nature conservation magazine, where we feature great projects from Sabah, Sarawak, Brunei, and Kalimantan. Mammal book on the left and the Tawa book have been quite a popular hit amongst the certain group of people as well. Next, please. Yeah. So why our team is quite interesting and unique. I call it the yin and yang. We have at least 10 people in our team. Half of them are youngsters in life, in the sense that they're 30 years old and below. And then we have the seasoned professionals. Some of them are retirees, and some of them just want to give their time. Some of them are retired businessmen who have seen all sorts of things in life, biologists, professors. So when you put a group of youngsters and slightly seasoned, experienced people together on the table, you can come up with great ideas. The youngsters are full of energy, ideas, and so on, but the retirees or the professionals, they have wisdom, they have seen a lot of things. So we know when so we can decide if we're gonna about to not decide, we can go if we can project and foresee if we're about to make a mistake in a team. So this is why our team is quite dynamic in this context. We have half of the team are 30-year-olds and below in the field, and half of them are retirees who are helping us full time as well. And these are some pictures of our organization members, as you can see. Next, please. Yeah, so these are some of the newspaper articles which we have had published. That's the German embassy coming to support the project in Tawau, and that's our elephant project in South China Morning Post, kickstarted as well. And hopefully after this, the Hornbill Award project will be going out as well as we kickstart next week. Actually, we start on March 8th, but yeah, I'll get back into that after this in the next slide. Next slide, please. This is some hornbill boxes we have placed around Borneo. And again, we put them in our restoration sites. And as you can see, hornbills need natural cavities, but some of the places we are planting trees don't have enough cavities. So we create our own boxes so they can come and nest. And this will, it will help whole ecology of the ecosystem. Next, please.
Sorry, Shavez, 2 more minutes.
Okay, this is when we first applied for fund in 2021. We got rejected then, but we kickstarted the project anyways with other private funders. And look, a few years later, we have all these amazing trees growing so fast. So we know what we're really planting now. Now in this year for the Hornbill Award. Next, please. Next, please. Next, please. I Can't see the next slide. Okay. I won't go into this. Can we go next, please? We don't have time. This is our organization chart. I'm the founder. We have a president, director, and everybody has their own role in the research department and education department. Next, please. I want to get into the place where we're doing the project. Next, please. This is our hunter turn guide, basically, whose success story. Next, please. Okay, so the project we are starting on March 8th will be at Teg 1, which is in Tawau. They have agreed to kickstart this new wildlife corridor we are starting, and we'll be planting all the sorts of figs and butterfly flowers. It's basically connecting isolated forest with the Tawau forest, which is connected with Tawau Hills Park. Next, please. This project has also been given approval by the Chief Conservator of Forests from Sabah Forestry Department, and we're kickstarting this on March 25th. The Hornbill Award project will be used there as well to plant figs and butterfly favorite flowers along the roads and around the center. Next, please. This one, we're in still in final discussions with the park top management on when we can start this or how we're going to start it and so on. Basically, this will be in the Tawau Hills Park itself. We have already started outside the park, not on Tawau Hills Park land, in some private land with the plantation there. And the trees are blossoming and doing fantastic. So this one, we will have more news very soon in the coming month. Next, please. This will be the final one. And this is another site in West Coast Sabah where we're doing some tree planting on figs and butterfly favorite flowers. So I think that's about it. Next, please. So I just would like to thank you again to everybody for supporting One Stop Borneo Wildlife. And we're so excited to start this project already. Since we got the letter, we have already gotten support from so many people. We're going to be starting in a few days' time. Thank you so much, everybody, again.
That's very impressive work. Thank you, Shavez. Now, without further ado, let's all welcome Dr. Serena Rahman to offer insights into the meaningful initiative she oversees. Dr. Serena is currently a lecturer of Southeast Asian Studies Department in the National University of Singapore. She's also the co-founder and principal advisor of Kelab Alami. Welcome, Dr. Serena.
Thank you, Shern. I need to share screen because my video is it's too big. Hang on, yeah. Let's hope there's no more technical issues. Can you see that? It's trying to go into slideshow. Okay, so this is where we are. I just want to say thank you to CGM for the Hornbill Award. This completely came out of the blue. I had no idea what I was doing when they called. I was in Thailand. And so we submitted this proposal and we got it. So just speeding along because I have 15 minutes. This is where we are because most people don't know where we sit. We are in the western end of the Tebrau Strait, also referred to as the Johor Strait, but I'm quite anti-colonial, so we use the original name. We are in Mukim Tanjung Kupang in the southwest of Johor in Gelang Patah. Not changing screen, hang on. Okay, so where we are, there is development all around us. We're just opposite Singapore's Tuas and Jurong Island area, but we do have many endangered species, including dugongs, turtles, 2 species, otters, 4 species of seahorses, etc. So even though we have a port, we have development, we do have lots of life. And so our star of the habitats really is our seagrass meadow, which is the largest contiguous seagrass meadow in all of Peninsular Malaysia. And it is the largest that you can see that's intertidal, but what you don't see is the subtidal seagrass, which is much deeper in the water because our waters are the color of tea, so you can't really see through it. These are photos by Michael Dives, and he is a teacher at the Forest City International School, Shatak St. Mary. So Kelab Alami began in 2008, and when we started, we were just an environmental education club that was focused on the local youth. So these are fishermen's children. So the actual founder is Shalan Jumaat, who, if you saw the video earlier, he's the local guy, and I'm just this person who's moved into the village. Serena is also somebody from there, but she's a teacher. And so we put together this club to educate the kids. Initially, Serena asked me to teach in her school, in the environmental education club that was under M&S, but that didn't work because it's really hard to run programs in the school. However, the emphasis here is that Kelab Alami is an organization that is working for the community, by the community themselves. This was our first stage where we focused on the youth and focused on environmental education, but we moved on very much from there. So in 2016, we started Pasta Pendeka Laut, and this is a seafood market. And Shalan did this because he realized the fishermen were not getting very much for their catch. And the people who are sitting on shore, some of them are also local. So not necessarily, we always blame the outsider middleman. These are actually local people as well. They paid people for crabs in the past for 1 kilo, 8 to 12 ringgit, but they would sell it for 25 to 30. So what he did was double the price and make only like 2-3 ringgit profit, but with volume, you can cover some of that back. And there was no reason for us to be greedy. His whole purpose is to make sure that everybody can get better income from the catch, especially since the catch is dwindling. At the same time, we worked on preserving and showcasing our fishing heritage. So he was training younger fishermen to make nets because this is a valuable skill and craft that was dying out actually. And so these guys got together, you see them at the bottom, our Pendeka Laut, and they were working on improving their state. Again, I need to tell you that I am just the English voice in this organization. I am not from there. My job is only to be the liaison with the outside world, to speak English because they refuse to. And so here I'm going to let you hear it from them.
Serena, we can't hear the video.
Wait, hang on.
Thank you.
I can't get the thing down. Wait. Oh, there it is. Share sound.
Saya bekerja bidang nelayan ni, umur saya bermula pada usia 14 tahun. Jadi kita macam saya ni orang kampung, nak belajar ni jauh daripada bandar. Jadi pekerjaan ini yang saya boleh buat.
Okey, kalau total kat JT dekat kawasan kita ni ada dalam 30 lebih orang lah. Paling muda rasa saya baru 25, 30 macam tu. Saya start daripada sekolah tadika memang ekor ayah daripada kecil lah.
Kita kerja duduk dalam pelepah tu tak ada kerja apa nak buat kan sebelum kita pergi kerja luar. Kita kena kerja kampung lah, ekor-ekor atuk lah.
Sebulan saya tak duduk sini, duduk darat aja, tak ke laut ni apa. Badan rasa macam, itulah macam kata macam tak ada kekuatan lah. Bila ke laut tu, itu yang saya pelik tu. Agaknya kita dah puluh tahun naknya. Itulah jadi gitu.
Buat je lah sampai kita tak boleh nak buat. InsyaAllah kalau apa kata orang sihat. Kalau dah tak sihat tu memanglah tak buat kan.
Sini sungai ni kalau kita tengok, sekarang ni lah cukup jauh kering dia. Saya kecil. Zaman saya dulu kecil-kecil, kalau air kering betul, sampai pada bakau air ni. Air tak kering. Kilang tak ada, apa tak ada, semua tak ada. Zaman saya umur 80-an, 90-an, memang ikan pendapatan memang banyak. Banyak.
Macam-macam ikan ungah, ikan sembilan, ikan pari, ikan gelama semua.
Dia ada musim lala, nanti diorang ikut darat pergi cari yang benda lala tu.
Beting lah.
Beting tu. Pada dulu sebelum penambakan dia memang boleh jalan kaki. Kira senang cerita macam pesta lah. Sekarang dah tak boleh. Lumpur.
Dulu boleh dapat 10 kilo ke atas. Dulu ikan cukup banyak tu. Sembilang, kiakap, apa-apa ikan. Sekarang langsung tak ada. Saya agak kena pencemaran lah. Sebab pencemaran pertama macam bot kapal banyak, jembatan dah buat, tambah tanah. Jadi rumput-rumpai ni banyak hilang, banyak mati. Dan kemudian kerana air, perjalanan air. Kalau biasa tu air terus masuk, keluar masuk. Sekarang berpusing-pusing bergelok-gelak lah. Rumput tu tempat pembiakan bertelur. Kalau contoh macam ketam lah. Kalau itu dah tak ada, mana dia nak duduk? Itu jadi masalah tu sekarang.
Kalau senang cerita, kalau peringkat umur kecil tu, kita hanya tak panggil rumput laut. Kita hanya panggil stu je. Okey, masa peringkat umur kecil tu, kita tak tahu benda ni penting ke tak. Bila dah start macam Serina masuk, dia banyak mengajar saya. Dan saya pula ada terangkan kat nelayan juga tempat pembiakan ni semua.
Yalah, nelayan ni kadang-kadang orang yang senang cerita orang yang kurang pelajaran lah. Mana tak ada pelajaran tinggi.
Banyak haiwan yang melumpang dalam bunga karang ni. Sebab tu kita kena jaga bunga karang ni. Jangan musnahkan dia. Pengetahuan saya lah, belangkas ni dia punya jari ni dia main pasir tau. Dia tak tahu dia korek pasir untuk apa. Sains aja yang tahu apa dia korek. Sebab tu dia ada gunaan dia. Saya tak tahu bagi yang sains ke apa. Kalau kita lain panggil dia apa, peli anjing. Dia ni ada fungsi dia juga. Fungsi dia pertama dia ni keluarkan api. Ada yang kuning, ada yang seakan-akan warna biru. Jadi kalau malam ni dia mengembang. Dia macam paru-paru lah. Paru-paru. Badan dia kadang ada anak-anak ketam, kadang anak ikan. Lagi seekor nak bila tekan aja dalam dia keluar. Dia akan ramai keluar seekor, 2 ekor. Sebab mana ada hidupan sembunyi dalam dalam ni. Maknanya dia ada fungsi juga dalam laut. Sains aja boleh buktikan. Bagi kita nelayan tak ada, kita tak tahu kan.
Kalau pada zaman dulu hasil banyak lah. Sebelum pembangunan ada sekeliling. Jadi diorang sekarang nelayan yang ada, saya hanya dapat beri dia semangat. Kita jangan duduk diam aja. Saya pun tak suka sangat pembangunan terlalu gempak. Kalau boleh kekal macam ni pun okey lah.
Untuk nelayan saya suka pembangunan. Cuma kita ni harap macam NGO, kerajaan lebih peka dengan masalah nelayan.
Memang payahlah pasal pembangunan kita tak boleh nak elak. Jadi paksa timalah. Bila anak-anak muda yang ada pelajaran, janganlah duduk kampung. Carilah kerja yang boleh menjamin masa depan. Kalau agak kerja laut ni tak payahlah.
So that was the voice of the fishermen. It's very important when I give talks to say that, you know, this is not my story. I'm just sharing the stories of these guys, and this is why I do what I do. And this is why Club Alami exists, to help these fishermen, because there's no other support for them that is really concrete and on the ground and gives them what they want and need. So what you have seen them talk about is effects of development, effects of climate change. If you saw the earlier video that was done by Channel News Asia, they talk about how climate change has resulted in more extreme weather. That video was done by Kari Anwar, and this is part of the Gamelan group. If you know Rhythm and Bronze in KL, this was part of their production for Sirwan Satu, The Secret Gardens of the Sea, focusing on seagrass. We're very honored that they featured our fishermen. As you can see, our fishermen are quite comfortable with the media. So we've been around for 16 years now, and they're quite used to speaking to people. And it's really important for me that they are out there telling their story whenever they can. And when it comes to situations like this, which they're not going to do, then I have to do it in English. So what are the climate change impacts on Malaysian artisanal fishermen? Climate change is the final straw. They already have development. They're losing their seas. There's reclamation. For us in the Tabrau Strait, there is development on both sides by many developers. Most people only know Forest City, they will say. But Forest City is just one. There's like 5 plus everything happening on the Singapore side. And then we have climate change. What we saw over COVID was that climate change hit us big time. Development was all on hold, but we saw a drastic fall in fish catch. You see Abandin, his nets come back full of algae. The sea temperatures had changed. The winds can change 4 times in a day as opposed to staying around for 2 weeks. As a result of all of these changes, the change in temperatures, there is a change in direction of water. There is a change in species seasonality as well as movements. All of this affects the fishermen. And when you have more extreme weather, which is what we had over COVID, because I was there at the jetty for 2.5 years when I couldn't come to work, they can't go out to sea. And when they can't go out to sea, they don't have impact. So what Shalan has done is set up MyKP Pendeka Laut. And this is actually a fisheries community organization. This gives us direct access to the fisheries department. In the past, there were layers of bureaucracy that were between us and the fisheries department. And so under Club Alami, Pasar Pendeka Laut was our initial initiative, but that was just a step towards this fisheries community organization. We're very grateful to the fisheries department for taking us on. And now they support everything that we do, whether it's the tourism, whether it's, you know, the racket. We have a fishing platform, and I'll show you a video later. But it is also to support the development of other sources of income and ensure that our fishermen get access to the promised aid that the government always comes up with, but they don't get access to because there is corruption, there is lack of transparency, and because there is injustice and inequitable resource distribution. It is through this organization, all of our initiatives, that we are able to ensure that these fishermen can help themselves. We don't want them to sit back and just ask for help. Lan always says they need to get up and stand up and do something to get aid. So what they are doing is moving to make it happen. So hopefully these are all silent. I'm showing you the videos of silent. Hang on.
Weko.
So you will see that
Okay.
these are the videos from the fishing platform, the Waro, Sustainable Fisheries Program. So that was we started this over COVID suggesting methodology.
Okay, bye-bye. Satu
Now
lagi Masih hidup. Okay, satu lagi. Okay, bye-bye. Oh, dah suka. Oh.
Film it and they watch these videos go away happy and it makes a difference to them. So the fishermen are our habitat experts. You heard just now Abang As was saying, oh, you know, science only knows. But really for me, our fishermen are our local habitat experts. When they release these species that are endangered, they're giving me species location, weights, sex, length, so that we know where they are. And I'm compiling this data for the fisheries department. This is what Club Alami does. Education,
Sorry, 2 more minutes.
yeah, 2 minutes, is right at the bottom. But really what we're doing is gathering data, empowering the community to speak for themselves. I'm really proud that they can get out there now and speak for themselves. And I don't have to do this so often, but really we want to contribute to policy. So we are speaking to IRDA, to the local government agencies, to local stakeholders. We work with all the developers in our area to give them this information and to push towards a community-led conservation area. We've been doing this for years. And I fully believe that the community is fully capable and should be the ones to lead this because, you know, while scientists like myself have a lot of certificate knowledge, we're not there on the ground every day. So really grateful for this Hornbill Award because it's going to add to our data, allow me to train more people to be able to gather this data and process the data that we already have. We'll be able to share this with fisheries to support protection laws, as well as work towards our community-led conservation plan. If our fishermen are no longer around, artisanal fishermen have been deemed by the FAO to be the future for sustainable fisheries. All of those trawlers are going to wipe out our seas. And so we need our artisanal fishermen if you want seafood to continue, because the trawlers are just going to wipe everything out. Climate change is the final straw. And it is only artisanal fishermen that can get you fresh off the boat seafood that has no chemicals added to it. Our fishermen, as I mentioned, have been featured on the media. There's Abandon on South China Morning Post. And then recently they were on Al Jazeera. That's a really good clip again about climate change impacts. You can just look them up, coastal communities in crisis. Or you can get in touch with us to find out more. Thank you again, CGM. Thank you everybody who's listening in for this award. Really grateful.
That's very inspiring. Thank you very much, Dr. Serena, and congratulations to you and your team again for your outstanding work. Thank you. So now let's welcome back architect Serena Hijjas to moderate a panel discussion with Shavez and Serena. Over to you, architect Serena.
Thank you very much. I'm not sure I have any more questions. There's so much information that both Shavez and Serena has given. But I just want to take the audience back in a little bit to the reason for why we the Hornbill Award, but also the awareness that we want to bring to conservation and biodiversity, not only because of the links to our national policy on biological diversity, not only to the Sustainable Development Goal 15 on the Agenda 2030, devoted to protect, restore, promote sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystems, sustainably manage forests, combat desertification and halt reverse land degradation and halt biodiversity. But also on a bigger level, it takes a whole nation approach. And the thing is that Malaysia, whilst we are 52% covered by our natural forests, I think the largest, biggest asset to us remains to be our biodiversity. So I want to take in this round table and hopefully have the other cameras on for Shavez and Serena on this round table session. I'd like to pose a question to Shavez with regards to can we sit ecotourism with ecological conservation on the same plate, or are they mutually exclusive, Shavez, your experience?
Hi, thank you for the question. I believe wildlife tourism, nature tourism, ecotourism, whatever terms people want to use, we use the word conservation tourism. They are aligned and interlinked with biodiversity protection. We have to do them as well. You see, one of the biggest problems I've seen, I mean no offense to my fellow NGOs and scientists out there, is sustainability. Most NGOs and scientists, we're always asking for money, right? I was applying for grants, winning this and that. Now, that is what I've learned is that is not the correct way as well all the time. We can't live like this forever. We have to create a value for nature, economic value. This is how the world works. I mean, think of your high school friend, Dr. Serena. Think of audience members. Think of your high school friends. How many of them are doing conservation? How many of them are doing biodiversity protection? Not your university friends, high school friends. Maybe you think about it, oh, 0, oh, 1. Why? Because there's not much jobs, there's not much money, there's not much economic incentives to join conservation. So question is, how do we change this trend? How do we commercialize it? We have to have money on the table somehow. So I believe if you do proper ecotourism, nature tourism, you can interlink them both. They're not separate entities, they can be the same entity. For example, if you do a proper ecotourism, nature tourism company or organization, you could incorporate your reforestation project part of your business. You could invite school groups around the world or tourists, not only to look at nature, but plant trees, which they will fund. For example, you could fund an education program. You can create more jobs into society. You can hire the hunters. The hunters are not hunting animals anymore. They're using cameras. So this way we're reducing poaching in the ecosystem by hiring them through the tourism project. So you can interlink them. So this way the government takes you more seriously as well. This way an award ceremony like this will take us seriously. Okay, you know what, this organization might get more funding by themselves in the long run. Or the government is like, you know what, we should listen to One Stop Borneo more now. They're not just here to tell us what to do, but they're actually bringing money on the table and they're hiring local people. So I firmly believe you have to mix business, not just ecotourism, business somehow with conservation. I have a good friend, his name is Leo in Kuching. He owns 3 bars in Kuching. He uses the profit from his businesses to run his NGO over there, Project Borneo. So to answer your question, business, tourism, and biodiversity protection, this should be hand to hand, head to head together somehow because of these reasons. And I'm just thinking in the long term, we have to have a visionary step change in conservation. We cannot always ask for money left and right, or unless do we just ask for money and then use that money to start us something and be sustainable, like my friends plan in Indonesia, Kalimantan, they do it. They ask the hunters and chainsaw people, loggers, give in your equipment, and here we go, a business loan to start a business. So this way they don't hunt much, they don't cut down the forest much. So that is my quick answer to your question.
Thank you, Chavez. I do note that, the transference of hunters to basically being your rangers is a really good step because they know the land. I think the other area that we're very interested in is how difficult to include communities whose livelihood depends on the land or the sea produce to understand, work, and mutually flourish with ecological conservation. Serena, your thoughts, since you've been in this area now working specifically on a community, and we'll segue later on some other questions to do with that. Yeah.
Thank you, Serena. I love having 2 Serenas on a panel. Same spelling. Yeah, no, communities, that's like my whole life, right? So I think communities are really important. If you really want to get conservation going, you have to help community first. But there are problems. So even within communities, you cannot assume that, oh, local communities are all angels, they're victims. They're not. There are people within these communities who are actively trying to take out the rest because they're greedy, right? And then there's local hierarchies, there's local politics. And sometimes you have to figure out a way to bypass this in order to help regular people who have no cable, who have no connections, who have no power. And that's what we've been trying to do. So we have a cooperative And when we first started that, we were actively ignoring everybody in hierarchy and not inviting them, and just going to poorer people who have no cables or connections and asking them to join our cooperative so that they can get benefits from it. So one of the biggest problems is local politics and local hierarchies, and finding a way to bypass that, because sometimes this can result in some harassment. The blessing for us is that IRDA, the Iskandar Regional Development Authority, came to look for us in 2015. And with them behind us, it helped us to open the doors. If you are a community organization, I'm not good at selling us or myself or anything, developers look at you like, oh, you're just people who are here on our land and you are in the way. So we had in the past issues talking to developers because they thought we were just problematic. When really all I was trying to do was to find a way for us to work together in a win-win situation. Thankfully, that has evolved hugely. So the other issue is that it takes a very long time. We've been at this for like 16 years. And it's taken this long for me to be able to say, yes, I work with all the developers around us. I can give them a call if I need to. And I'm speaking to them, individually over coffee, just over WhatsApp to say, look, we want to work towards this community-led conservation area. Will you work with us on it? And they're keen. And now we have fisheries, who is a huge support for the Pendeka Laut. And that is key because we are all about fisheries and fishermen. And so we have them, we have IRDA, we're working with the government agencies. As you mentioned, it is an all of community effort. If we don't bring everybody in, not just the local community, but it takes all of these stakeholders to make conservation possible. And then you need a bridge. So I am the bridge. Because local community might not speak the language that government agencies speak. We have scientists that come down once in 3 months and feel that only they are the experts in our area because only they speak in English, in academic language, because only they publish. We do have other scientists who are our advisors who respect local knowledge. So I'm very selective over who we work with because we don't want people coming in and taking local knowledge and using it for their own glory and publication, etc., with no recognition to what we do on the ground and what we know. As I said just now, it is the local community which is in the habitat every day, as with Shavez. The hunters become rangers because they know the habitat, they know where the animals are. We would like our fishermen to be marine rangers as well. But we need that to be a source of income for them, right? Because the fish catch is getting lower. So we use their expertise, their knowledge, they can read where the water goes. Scientists come in, I live there. I don't go out to sea every day because I have to work. But they know what has changed. Any scientist that goes into a habitat, into a community, taps local knowledge before they can do their science. These are the people that need to be involved in policy making. These are the people whose knowledge needs to be respected. We can't have random scientists who are not there all the time come in and say, oh, we're going to set up a seagrass reserve, but we don't actually know what's going on. And then they decide, oh, we know the community better than the community themselves because we're Professor so-and-so, or we come from this university in academia. It doesn't work that way. Knowledge is ground up. And that needs to work hand in hand with science to say, okay, we create these models for the future. Science can do that. Local communities can't. Abang As said, oh, only science can find out because they know what's on the ground. They know what they see. They have experiential, immersive, generational knowledge. Together with science, together with developers who has the power, the money, together with government agencies, only then can we protect an area. And that is why it's in the National Biodiversity Policy that we have these community-led conservation areas. Because people recognize we can't make our space a marine park because it is industrial, it is for development, but we can all work together to make it better.
So I want to bring us into ESG, environmental, social, and governance. And I think that this is an area where we're having to report now bigger developers, bigger companies need to do reporting on environmental, social governance. I want to see whether there is a possibility of the avenue on biodiversity conservation to be part of that environmental. I was intrigued to hear about carbon, and I think the question about carbon is coming up quite a lot, especially in this area, and the contribution both in terms of on land and in sea, Shavez, in terms of carbon What do you see? Do you see there's an avenue that we can speak to the private sector with regards to their continued involvement in conservation, especially not just on the surface of, well, we're doing sequestration and this is carbon here. Do you see there's a possibility of bringing this this conversation further and bringing more stakeholders, private stakeholders, in understanding the benefits of carbon?
Thank you for this question. It's a very complicated question. I will not answer in full detail because I will be very frank with you. Even my knowledge on this whole carbon credits and carbon securitization and carbon is conflicting, because I've heard from my, let's say I have 10 biodiversity and business experts. Half of them are for it and half of them are not for it. So it is a very conflicting and interesting concept and so on. But I know for a fact many NGOs, companies, state governments here in Malaysia and foreign, they're really involved in this and they are bringing it up, and it is bringing money onto the table. I personally will not comment further because I have actually be partnered with a few other private companies from Europe, for example, who want to be involved in this, and they have given us, let's say, funds because they wanted to offset their work. At this present time, the Sabah state government is also still in conversation with several groups from abroad regarding bringing this to the next level. I knew Dato Sam Manan, the previous chief conservator of forest of Sabah, Sabah Forestry, was in Dubai recently. The CEO to talk to the NGOs, the government. So I want to see how it goes further from there and how we all could be part of it and benefit as well. So that's my only take on this at this present time, due to my lack of knowledge in depth.
Serena, could I jump in?
Yes, please.
Yeah, blue carbon is the big thing now.
Yes.
Everybody wants to be a blue carbon expert. I went to a blue carbon workshop and apparently I'm a blue carbon fisheries person. It's just new branding. The thing about this is, my personal opinion is that really this was created by business and financing to justify further business, to find a way where business can move as usual, so that, we'll say, okay, we'll keep businesses running, but we'll say, okay, we're going to do this to offset. So you say, okay, this is how much carbon our company creates. And so we're going to plant this many trees so that we're offsetting it. But our top executives will continue to fly all over the world and emit more carbon. So it really is just a tool for which businesses can function as usual. It's just like how electric cars are created by the car industry so that business can function as usual without thinking about where the minerals are coming from to create these electric cars. Anyway, so perhaps, it's the latest jazzy word catchphrase that everybody wants to get into. What we need to think about is when it comes to ESG and what companies are doing to reduce their carbon emissions, we get lots of requests for mangrove planting, for example. And I'm like, okay, you want out mangroves, survival rate is really low. What you need to also invest in is monitoring. What you need to also invest in is making sure your employees know what this is about and not just come and take a photo. So I think with ESG, blue carbon or, terrestrial carbon projects, there really needs to be more deeper understanding across organizations on why they're doing these things and how they as individuals can make individual differences. And then also there needs to be political will, either at the business level or at the government level, to think about how much we really need to keep developing and attaining GDP type targets, because we're just going to keep generating more carbon to fuel more consumption. And that really doesn't help where the world is going. So I think for ESG, there's a lot of emphasis on the environment, on the carbon emissions, because it is a Bursa requirement. For companies on the stock market, they have to do this. What about the social component? What about the impacts to the people? What about, really, does this actually work? Do we need more of this? There are many people in the field of social justice, just transitions, who feel that all of this carbon trading is really just another means of colonial manipulation of the global south in how business is done. And that's a whole different topic, but I think we do need to look into the authenticity of some of these ESG efforts. My 2 cents.
Okay, well, I think then that the real area here is on CSR more than anything else, and that any private involvement in conservation is really looking at the very big picture of where our planet is going. I'd like to take a last question to both of you. What would you like to see further in the conservation efforts or in the conservation arena in what you're doing? What would you, if you had a wish list, what would you like to see can happen? Shavez.
I would just like more youth to be involved as well, because when I look at existing organizations and I look at the demographics of it, especially the leaders, I feel like I think in Sabah, my organization is one of the youngest ones leading an organization. So that sounds very good, but that may not be the best thing also in the long run. So I hope more young people will be there. And I hope in organizations, there's not just one or two power shots, like, you know, the charismatic leader. We need to create a team of multiple leaders in a team. So if something happens to the leader, you know, there's continuity. Next one, sustainability. We need to change the whole game of conservation. We need to value conservation. It's not just a thing, or you're just like a part-time thing, or this is another group which is asking for money. We want it to be cool. We want it to be visionary. We want it to be creative. I wish it can become something that, oh, I hope I go to a coffee shop one day, or ask when you go to school and, you know, when the kids write, what's your ambition? I want to be a pilot. I want to be a dentist. I hope they write, I want to be a conservationist. But that, to be realistic, that can only happen if you change the whole name of the game, you know, by making it economically viable as well. So I hope I see more youth coming in. I hope I see more government support as well locally. I mean, in Borneo and in Malaysia in general. And sustainability. I hope conservation becomes sustainable and a part of life, actually, for everyone, not just a few group of misfits or crazy, so-called crazy fun people. You know, am I a crazy person? Maybe I am a little bit, but maybe the whole society can become like that, become interested in wildlife and conservation, whether it's marine or terrestrial. How do we make it a part of way of life, whether it's through education or changing the whole idea of conservation? That's my hope in the very near future.
Serena.
Yeah, having more youth would be great. We started out as a youth organization, but you know, when they hit 18, 19, 20, and then we're in a rural community, they all just want to go out and have fun, have kids as fast as possible, get married, that kind of thing. Then they just sort of drop out. They have other priorities. I think it's different when you're in a rural area and really the goals that you have in life are really just about going forward, getting a proper job, having children, having families. I think my biggest thing would be recognition of local communities, local community knowledge, respect, acknowledgement of their knowledge and how much everything depends on that. I have seen, developers' videos of their natural habitats, which I know are used clearly by local communities, but not a single local community person is featured. You know, you can bring in some guy from across the world to talk about this habitat, and you want to feature usually a Caucasian face, but we are Asia and we have local communities that know this space much more than this person who's come from the US. And you know, there are people who actively try to exclude local communities, perhaps because they think, you know, these guys are just going to fight us for this space. No, I think we need to have better assumptions and assume that we can, if you approach people nicely, there will be an understanding that we can share the space. The space is very limited and continues to, you know, be reduced by many pressures. And I think we should function more inclusively. So talking about sustainability is not enough. It needs to be inclusive, sustainable development. There needs to be recognition for the local need to exist in a space for their heritage and livelihood to continue, and for their knowledge to be recognized and respected. For me, if conservation can include all of that, that would be ideal. And it would work much better.
Thank you very much for that. We'll end the round table and take us back to Dato Henry Barlow for his final statement. Thank you, Shavez. Thank you, Serena.
Thank
Well,
you.
first of all, I would like to thank the awardees for their very constructive and rewarding presentations and the discussions which have followed afterwards, as well as to our audience, who have produced various questions which I believe will be answered individually later. And last but not least, I would like to thank the organizers from the Secretariat who've organized this online award ceremony. We hope, funds permitting, that this award may become an annual event. And as a final thought, I'd also like to suggest that we should consider also giving publicity to the best efforts by small and medium-sized businesses to comply with ESG requirements. That concludes my closing remarks. So thank you all very much for your attendance and hope that there will be another ceremony in approximately 12 months' time for the same sort of operation. Thank you very much indeed.
Thanks, Dato Henry, for concluding remarks. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we draw the curtains on this enlightening webinar, may the knowledge shared today serve as a beacon, guiding us towards a future where biodiversity conservation thrives. Quick reminder that the recordings of the session will be up on YouTube in the next couple of days, along with an accompanying blog post up on our website. Please feel free to subscribe to our newsletter and follow our linking page to stay updated with our upcoming events. Thank you for your active participation and dedication to this important cause. Goodbye.